We have 43 people.
Okay, I pressed the recording.
Okay, yes. Okay, should I start, Vilma, or?
Yeah,
okay.
you please.
Okay, well, welcome, hello, and welcome everybody to our webinar. I'm sorry if I make any mistakes for those who are more familiar with webinars, but this is actually my first webinar where I'm the, let's say, host or something. I've been participating to many, but only as a participant. So if I make any mistakes, I'm sorry for those who know more. So we wanted to invite everybody to, excuse me, to a dissemination, to a presentation actually of our project, our very long worked project, which was called I Am Happy With Myself. And I'm going to share my screen so I won't speak so that nobody can. Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the name of the project is I Am Happy With Myself. It was a 2019, it started in 2019. It was actually an e-twinning project, which was initiated by our Turkish partners. And then it was blown up, it was developed into an Erasmus Plus project with 3 more partners. So except apart from Turkey and Romania, we've had Belgium, Germany, and Lithuania as partners. Now, the most important aim of our project, as you can see here in our text, is the idea that we wanted to fight sex stereotypes, especially the idea of the fact that women and men have certain roles in society, and especially to see the stereotypes from the east part, from the, let's say, western part of Europe compared to the eastern part stereotypes. So we have seen this, that the gender stereotypes limit the development of male and females' natural abilities and capacities. So our main aim, our goal was to have the children be aware of the realities in their countries, and especially the realities in the other countries, and let's say filter these findings through their own conscience, and try to create, let's say, a common conscience, and European conscience, so that they can let's say better integrate men and women and reach a certain level of equality between men and women. So all our activities were focused on this idea of social entrepreneurship and on raising the awareness between among the children about the importance of this this idea. Now, our partners, as I said, we had partners from Turkey, from Ramazan Atil Anadolu Lisesi from Adana. We have here with us, from what I have seen, I'm sorry if I'm skipping somebody, we have Sebla, we have Erim, we have Gulshen, and we are welcoming them here. From Belgium, we've had as partners the Prisma Campus College from Isegem, and I have seen somebody, but I don't remember who, from Belgium. So hello to Belgium, to the Belgian people. From Lithuania, we've had the Jono Pauliaus to GIMNAZIJA from Kaunas as a partner. And we have Sylvia and Vilma here as strong representatives. Hello. From Germany, we've had Friedrich Rücker Gymnasium from Düsseldorf, and I'm pretty sure that there are some representatives here, though I have not seen them, and I'm sorry.
Hi.
Hello. And last
Good evening
but not,
from Germany, from Düsseldorf.
Hello.
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 And last but not least, us. We are the Technological High School Unumai from Ploiești, which is me, Marius Dumitru. We have Vika Vicol, our excuse me, our deputy director, We have Irina Morariu, and a lot of colleagues that have helped us in our project. Now, as most of you, I'm sure, know, the Erasmus Plus projects are, let's say, centered around mobilities, which are trips that children accompanied by teachers take through to different countries, to the partner countries, and all of these mobilities have a certain theme. These themes are chosen by the project team, and they should fit into the main goal and the main objective of the project. Now, our themes, let's say, our ideas were, as you can see them here, in Turkey, we had female traces in social entrepreneurship, and the mobility took place between 4th and 8th of November 2019. Then we've had female rights and female power in Belgium between 9th and 13th of March 2020. The Long Way Through the Glass Ceiling, a very poetic name. This activity took place in Germany between 24th and 28th of January 2022. Gender Equality in Science in Lithuania between 14th and 18th of March 2022. And Female Traces in Male Occupations in Romania, which took place between 9th and 13th of May 2022. It goes without saying, this large gap between these 3 years. The project took longer than we expected because of COVID, of course, and we've had to extend the project with more than 1 year. Now, we will be speaking about the mobilities that we have. Each of us has participated. The first mobility, as we said, took place in Turkey, in the city of Adana, which is a very beautiful city. It's close to the southern border of Turkey. And I almost forgot, I want to thank the Turkish team because they are way more experienced with Erasmus Plus projects than we are, so they helped us a lot because this was, as we said, our first project. So the mobility took 5 days, and the mobilities usually have certain aspects that need to be, let's say, touched or met. For example, we have visited the Turkish high school. We saw how the classes take place, how the classes are organized, what kind of school system does Turkey have. And not just us, of course, the children. And even from the beginning, the children were divided, as you can see in this image on the right, were divided in teams, and they were given a mobility task that they needed to work on during the whole entirety of the mobility. Now, the task was that the students needed to work on a business plan. As I said, one of the most important components of the Erasmus Plus project is social entrepreneurship. So the children had to come up with a business plan which involved or empowered, let's say, women. And this, if you could please turn off your microphones, it would be okay. Some of you still have the microphones all on. Thank you. It's difficult for us to hear each other. And of course, the children participated in certain visits, mobility visits. For example, they visited a center where women, let's say, get a second chance in life. They can learn new trades or new skills. And so they can get a new start in life. So they saw how women excuse me. They saw how women have a new start, as I said, in life after they have, for example, maybe been abused or had some problems in their past. This is actually, as you can see here on the top left corner, this is the Romanian team in front of this at this visit in front of the Cooperativi, but I can't actually pronounce the name. And another important visit, as you can see on the top right corner, was at the Chamber of Commerce, where the children got a chance to meet approximately 10 or 11 women entrepreneurs, which have businesses in different domains, like, for example, manufacturing or handmade objects. And so they saw how women get a second chance and how women are involved and become entrepreneurs, and they are helped by the state. And of course, at the end, they have received, all teams have received diplomas and a sign of recognition from the team. But what was very interesting, let's say, in Turkey, at least from my point of view, because I have participated there, was the desire of people to get involved in such projects. And I'm not referring necessarily to the Erasmus Plus projects, to projects that change the society, let's say, change the mentality of people towards a better way. So that was a very nice element, let's say, to be observed. Okay, for the second mobility, I'm going to allow Vilma to take over from me. Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing now, and you can share.
Mario, don't stop sharing. You do it the same.
Okay.
Will you please, if you can, okay? Just because it will take me a minute or two to find it, okay? So can you get back to...
Yes.
Okay. So the second project meeting was in Prisma Campus College, as you see it here, in Izegem. Well, unfortunately, it's experienced some disadvantages with the increasing rise of the COVID first wave, due to which, well, unfortunately, Turkish team couldn't arrive, while other teams have doubts whether to go or not till the very last minute, just because of worsening situation. And during the visit, we first looked around the school, which is really beautiful. Then the hosts were nice, brilliant. They gathered the whole school's community, parents, children, to meet us, and that was really lovely. So actually, talking about the activities, the theme of the mobility meeting in Belgium was female rights and female power. The emphasis here was laid on the strengths of women in different situations. Women were shown as contributors to peace, the ones who act in peacekeeping missions. And there was one woman, who came to give a speech and inspire students, the one who took part in peacekeeping missions in Africa, helping women there. She was Aileen Spilabin. I don't know whether if I pronounce it correctly. The students, after the meeting, had a workshop with her. So students worked in teams, in international teams, finding information and sharing ideas about women who in every country have been catalysts to change, but often remained actually on the sideline. In group, students gave presentations. You can see some of the photos here on the topic, for example, gender pay gap or work-life balance. So there were also the excursions and cultural part, but all of them reflected the importance of women, their strengths, their valuable addition to the society, country's development. There were some visits to the Flanders Field Museum in Ypres, also visited monuments of the First World War. So everything was thematic-like. And a parent door museum at Izegem, which is shoe industry museum, where women played a huge role in business and industry. So mainly that's it about Belgium. I don't know, lots could be said, but still, that was a bit long ago, so maybe not everything is oh yes, so also students were creating we are portraying a representative woman for the name of the one street in GIMNAZIJA and some project visits. So these were the main projects. Okay, can you give another slide? Yes, Friedrich Ruckert Gymnasium. This visit in Düsseldorf was a kind of extreme, just because it was, how to say, experiencing the second deep wave of COVID, and it was disastrous when some students couldn't leave to Germany just because they got ill, just because leaving, and some students from Belgium were tested COVID and had to leave Germany on the very first day. So that was quite a challenge, but German teachers were so brave and so ingenious that they could somehow implement the tasks in different ways, finding different areas of how to accomplish everything. Most of the further project activities were transferred to the hotel's dining room and lounge to the city center, finding new ways of how to complete the tasks. Now, of course, some students were able to work at school, and some were working in the hotel, others at school, well, different ways. So during the mobility meeting, students were discussing the development of gender equality in Germany and Europe. And actually the visits activities were again all due to the main theme of this mobility, looking through the ceiling, through the glass ceiling, the essence of which is to make students aware of the difficulties women face even such a well-developed country like Germany. In international group, students were working with young successful women from the region, listening to their stories online, right, and turning them into video interviews. Also the discussions about feminism and the ways to real equality were raised. Students created a giant painting that represents female empowerment, which would serve as a lasting memory at that Friedrich Ruckert Gymnasium. There were also some visits to the Nazi museum, not the Nazi, probably Fight Against Nazi museum. Then we saw the exhibition of the artist Casey Colwitz at her museum in Cologne. She was the woman with her view on war in Germany, and of course visited some other interesting places. Next, Lithuanian mobility. Fortunately, it wasn't influenced by COVID already, but was with a bit of fear of war. So fortunately, it was peaceful and well, quite successful. Again, according to the project's main idea, it reflected gender equality under the theme gender equality in science, as it was shown before. So as you probably know, on the 11th of February, there's International Day of Women and Girls in Science. So the topic probably corresponds this idea. And for the start, as usual, well, the school was shown, And all teams came with their presentations of their schools and countries, as well as presentations of the famous women of their countries, famous women scientists of their countries. One of the first activities were creating diaries, personal diaries for the whole period of 5 days, where everyone every day started with writing down the impressions, thoughts, ideas, views of what they saw, experienced, how they felt during that day, and on the very last day, students could give them to anyone they wanted. So that was kind of a gift. As with the previous mobilities, all the activities during the project, we corresponded the theme of women in science. So students were listening to, again, two representatives, two young successful women working in the field of science and IT. Also visited Kaunas Technological University Science and Innovation Center, which is the biggest in the Baltic states, where they were acknowledged about the studying programs and the input of women scientists and women lecturers. On one of the days, the students and teams had to write questions as an interview to BASNet Forum representative. What is BASNet Forum? It is a regional Baltic States Association of Women Scientists. So one of the representatives came to school later on, and he answered all the questions that students had written down before. So, by the way, the speech of that scientist encouraged students, especially girls, to become more knowledgeable, to seek the aspirations and want to be more than just housewives. I mean, girls, because women are equal to men and even may become better. They have strong potential. And finally, of all the information gathered during the week in mixed international teams, students had to write articles on the provided topics. For example, is it easy to be a woman and a scientist? What a woman should undergo on her way to become as a scientist, and the like. So, of course, by no means the project was followed by some educational visits, excursions to castles, to museums, to Vilnius, the capital. But somehow all these visits and excursions, again, like in every country, were due to the main topic, gender equality, laying emphasis of the strengths of women. And probably that's it. Here you see the chemistry faculty visit, the presentations at school, and the certificate award. Yes, thank you. Now I am giving a word to Sylvia, to the last but not least mobility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So I am Sylvia, and I'm from Lithuania. So I will talk about the final stage, the fifth mobility of our project that took place in Ploiești, Romania, from the 9th to the 13th of May. So the main theme of the visit was female traces in male occupations. Everyone was highly impressed by the organized program. It was filled with so many meetings, workshops, shows, and conferences. So different topics surrounding women in males' jobs were discussed. So pressure from family and pressure from the wider society are some of the biggest factors that prevent women from entering male-dominated industries. So nowadays, it is challenging for women to exist in those really masculine places of work, pursue a career and be a mother at the same time. However, the host organized meetings with women who sampled to be very successful in these, let us say, men's jobs. So we met a judge, a woman judge, a university, and even gas industry professors. And everyone was astonished by meeting with 3 pilots who were very young women. And they looked so fragile, and they were pilots that fly planes. That was incredibly interesting. So we really proved that it is possible to build a successful career in so-called male occupations without sacrificing your goals and your wishes. So throughout the visit, the students were divided into international teams to collaborate together, and they actively did that, and they all participate in held activities. So they delivered presentations, psychological profile of women in the 20th century. So each team presented that they have prepared before they came in their native hometowns. So however, it wasn't all work that we did. So we also had a cultural program like entertainment. Lots of cultural visits were arranged as well. So, and we all visited Transylvanian mountains, Palace and Dracula castles. Also, we went to the capital city, Bucharest, where we visited the palace of the parliament. So all the topics were related to the main theme, speaking about women's rights and what is the place of a woman in modern society. So finally, it was great to have the opportunity to see how active women in Romania are, how inspirational they are, and the students identified barriers. I think they even eliminated prejudices about women with jobs that are assigned to men. So although there are undeniable challenges, I think even now in modern world, there are undeniable challenges for women to take part of men when they work in industry, law system, and everywhere. But to my mind, every woman has a right to follow her professional ambition and use talents in every way she chooses. So having a strong support and right mindset, it's a lot easier to survive and thrive to the top. So I think that our girls will be inspired by the visits we did, by the people, women we met, and they will be successful in any career we would like to strive to pursue in their lives. So thank you so much. So Marius, maybe you will get some final touches to that.
Yes, thank you, Sylvia and Vilma. Very nice and very complex presentation. You remembered a lot of things. It's really nice to hear some of the things that I haven't participated, unfortunately. So I'm going to be very quick at the end because we only have less than 8 minutes. Of course, the project is done, so it's very important at the end of an Erasmus Plus project, just like at the end of any project, to have a dissemination of the project. And this is one of the activities that you can disseminate the project. You can make, you can organize a webinar, and you can invite anyone who is interested in participating in it. But one of the most important aspects of dissemination is the e-twinning, the twin space, which is on the e-twinning website. So every Erasmus Plus project has an e-twinning component, let's say, has an e-twinning site. And there you can find all the mobilities, all the details of the mobilities, pictures and testimonies from the children, all kind of information about the project. And of course, you can also use social media to disseminate the project. Like you can see here some Facebook screenshots from the different websites of the schools. And also from the actual websites of the schools, not just the Facebook sites of schools. Of course, we can also use conventional media, like speaking to television station or having an article on a newspaper, a printed article on a newspaper, but it's very important to disseminate the project. So it shows that it has an impact in society and in the community. First and foremost amongst the youngsters. Okay, now thank you for your attention, and I can see that we are now 71 participants. Now, if anyone has any questions for us, we are open and we will try to answer to the best of our abilities. If you have any curiosities, maybe. Or maybe if our partners have anything to add, any ideas, any elements.
For me, it was a pleasure to work with you, with all of partners. And thank you very much for this presentation.
Thank you, Sebla.
Thank you.
Okay, nobody else has any questions? We were that good in our presentation. Wow, thank you very much.
Everything was so clear that no more questions.
Yeah, no more questions, exactly. Yeah, so if you want to tackle such a project, it's very important to have a team behind you, a team of people who are very well, have good logistics knowledge, have good English knowledge, but that's not very, let's say, the most important, the capital one. Not everybody speaks very good English. It's just important enough to make yourself understood, but it's very, very, very important to have good and dedicated children behind you, because the first and foremost object of the Erasmus
Mario got stuck.
Marius has disappeared.
Yeah.
So we want to thank everyone
Yeah.
for joining us and for listening to our presentations. It is an honor to us that we have 71 participants that were interested in that topic. So it really shows that how much we want to take part in these projects, international ones. So thanks once again for coming and joining today.
Okay, we thank you as well from Romania, and we will be sure to send vom trimite referințele în curând cât de repede putem. Mulțumim mult pentru participare. Thank you very much for your participation for everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening.
Mulțumim.
Thank you very much for everything.
Dear colleagues, work was great. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you again. We hope. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
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 Arman, dabar sustabdyti recordingą.
Yeah.